government's commitment to the agriculture sector, to the development of Guyana on the whole. The commissioning of the Adventure Drainage Pump, this is a simple program, and to start us off, we'd like to invite a farmer's representative in the person of Mr. Chrissy Nat Pesson.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, members of the head table, bit shocked to find that I was elected to represent the farmers today.
He's not a farmer?
I have just reached the height of 90 years.
Very good.
And, just decided to stay away from farming because of the problems we've got in the past. But thanks to our minister, we walked along from the time he started as a politician, and today he has reached such great heights. I take my hat off to you, sir. You're reaching for the stars, especially your drive to bring down the food bill for the Commonwealth, not the Commonwealth, the Caribbean, for the Caribbean. I'm indeed happy to be here for the commissioning of this pump, and it is one of the many one of the many things that are happening, like for the construction of cokers, trenches, dikes, and all these things to help us to withstand the floods that we've been having. For this one, it brings to mind one of my encounters when I was a magistrate in Blackbush Boulder. It was raining heavily, and that day I decided, rain or sun, I will go to have court there. When I went, I saw the place flooded. I said, no, I'm not going to go back. Took off my shoes, socks, and pulled up my pants and walked through 12 inches of water, being led by a small snake to the steps. But today, we're having this wonderful structure that things like that would not be happening again. Let me congratulate our Vice President, Dr. Jagdeo, for his vision of wanting to give local contractors, to build a pool of skilled local contractors. And here it is this day that my very dear friend, Anil, has proven him to be correct. Anil has successfully finished this program, which we will all see operating shortly. Mr. Minister, the speed at which you're going, we are unable to follow. And one request before I finish, because I was given just a couple of minutes, is that there are projects that are being undertaken in Region 6, and which we are not au fait with. Many farmers, many people in the district would like to mentally to go along with the train of development, because we are told that there is some canal is to be dug from Skeldon to Albion and a road is from Amsterdam. We are hearing secondhand, but we'd very much like, as I said, to be on the mental train as to what developments are going on. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A key beneficiary of these transformative projects of drainage and irrigation is the rice sector. And here to represent rice farmers is President of the Rice Producers Association, Mr. Lika Ramrich.
Thank you,
Thank you, Chairman of the proceedings, Honorable Minister, Director General, other heads of agencies, or Vice Chairman, farmers, special invitees. Pleasant good day, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to be here today to be part of this very important activity, the commissioning of this drainage and irrigation pump, the drainage pump at Adventure. This pump would serve very, very good to the Blackbush Polar and the outlying areas in terms of drainage. But it does not come with hiccup. Quite a few hiccup has brought us to where we are today. But it is important for us to understand. And as a farmer representative, it's been difficult for me to speak when I have to be dancing within the raindrops to search for words to not to step on anyone's toes. It's difficult for me to actually stand here and know what to say. But I want to say on behalf of the farmers that we are happy that this project has been completed. It is long overdue. It has caused a lot of damages in Blackbush Polar. Last crop alone, over 700 acres of rice was resown in Lesbiola. And if this facility is commissioned, and basically what detained it is because of this road project. This road project, the alignment of the delivery for the coker detain this pump and causes so much losses for the people in Lesbiola. And not only in rice, but also in cash crop. But you know, that's the past. We are hoping that with the prediction of the La Nina coming by the late October into the December period, the other rainy season, there will not be a recurrence, and I'm hoping that this facility would do well for the farmers. Likewise in the other areas of Father Tree and Eversham, as they service the Blackbush Polar and the aligning areas in the front line. Farmers would be very happy to know that a facility like this is here, and they would have the confidence to go ahead and do what they are doing with confidence and on top of their head, that there would not be any flooding anymore. I want to compliment Minister for the initiative of seeing the importance of this facility. He has been the driving force in the industry, and he has led by example for all of us to follow. And like magistrate said, we hard to catch up with the pace, but sometimes you just got to be running to get behind the minister to get things done. Minister has been, I don't know if he just sleep well in the night, but it's a difficult task for him, and I really want to compliment him for his job. I know all the farmers would not want to themselves compliment him, but I am saying it in behalf of the farmers. I also want to thank the government of Guyana for seeing the vision in financing this operation. And we promise them that we are the stakeholders, we the farmers are the stakeholders. We want to ensure that this facility stand up to its expectation, and our farmers and our farming community will benefit. We would like to know how much warranty NANO will give to this project, because we will face we know a lot of work has been done, and not too long after farmers are suffering from it. I know my friend Anil, I don't want to step on his toe, but I know he is a very good man when it comes to fixing and repairing. He has been servicing all the pumps in Blackbush Polar, and he's been doing a wonderful job. And I can see here today that look really sparkling, and I hope that we could live up to this expectation, and his name would keep on rising. So thank you, and thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another sector that will benefit significantly from the operations of this pump station is, of course, the livestock sector. And here to represent is the CEO of GLDA, Mr. Dwight Waldron.
Thank you, Chair, Honorable Minister, Director General, other members of the table, farmers all, good morning. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Much better. Especially, and I must say, most of you here, 90% who might be cash crop farmers or rice farmers, are also livestock farmers. When I was asked to give brief remarks, I was more than elated. The reason being, when you look at what would have transpired over the years in this major production area for livestock, looking at more specifically the Cookrit Savannah, and those of you who are following the dairy sector, and again I want to say thanks, Minister, for the contribution and the support in allowing us to have a clean milk project in Region 6, and that project is completed and up and running. But the Lesbiolan Basin is one of the areas in Region 6 where most of our milk emanates from. In addition to that, I want to say this pump will contribute tremendously towards farmers making money. You might want to ask how. When you look at the stress level that flood, excess moisture would cause on livestock, the presence of diseases that is always there once you have excess water and high moisture, this pump will make sure that our ruminant maintain that level of stress that they can produce at their optimum, and you guys will be in a better position to gain money. In addition to that, we've been touching and talking a lot about those diseases that have been affecting some of the livestock sector, especially, and permit me here to speak specifically to this zone. We would have had some cases that we had to investigate, and upon those investigations, we realized it was more waterborne diseases. So again, Mr. Wordsworth, Minister DG, I must say thanks on behalf of the livestock farmers. This will assist us tremendously, and going forward, you can look forward to our farmers contributing more to our national GDP. Thank you.
We'd now like to invite a cultural item. Lovely young lady will come forward now and do for us a song. Put your hands together for the Little Miss. Very much. Give her another round of applause. She certainly did a good job. Overseeing the operations of this important piece of infrastructure will be the Regional Administration of Region Number 6. And here to offer a few remarks is Vice Chairman, Mr. Zamal Hussain.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Minister, Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Chairman of the NDIA Board, other members of the head table, ladies and gentlemen, good day. I am very much pleased to be here today at this very historic and significant opening of this pump station. This will help the regional administration tremendously in terms of the amount of complaints that we have been receiving in terms of the drainage, not only in this part, but it will be specifically for this part. And this is indeed a project that will benefit a number of farmers. In fact, hundreds of farmers in Blackbush Polar specifically. This is one of the many projects that is being ongoing in Region 6. In fact, this is the first pump station to be commissioned, but there is a number of other pump stations that is presently in the construction stage. And let me say that every single area that will benefit from these pump stations, it will help to eliminate the flooding in the region. In fact, in 2021, we had a massive flooding. And this government, the People's Progressive Party civic government, has responded with projects to eliminate such flooding again. And this is one of the projects. We have the Hope Light Canal presently ongoing. We have later down today, we'll be doing some consultation on a channel coming out at Lancaster so that it will relieve the water into the Atlantic in a more timely manner. So all in all, I must compliment the NDIA for this initiative, and specifically the Ministry of Agriculture through the leadership of our Honorable Minister, Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, who deserve a big round of applause for making sure that these projects are done or completed in a timely manner. Let me also thank the Vice President, the Honorable Dr. Barjagdio, and His Excellency the President, to ensure that Region 6 is a region that is close to their hearts, and to ensure that the farmers of Region 6 benefit tremendously from all the resources that is being spread right across the country. So once again, thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture, thanks to the government of Guyana for bringing this project to Region 6. We really appreciate this project, and we're looking forward for more projects in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tamal. In every organization, there is that one person who is considered the glue that holds everything together and makes things happen. Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, of course, goes out there, he's in front, but behind the scenes, a very strong team of persons holding everything together, making things happen, and that team is led by our Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Ricky Ramraj.
Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable Minister, colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture, colleagues and friends from the region, farmers, well-wishers, a pleasant good afternoon. Today, I'm very happy to be part of this commissioning ceremony. Only 2 weeks ago, we had similar activity at Greenwich Park on the west coast of Demerara. Sorry, that's East Bank Essequibo. East Bank Essequibo. I think people consider it as part of West Coast Demerara. It was successful, similar to this. And so today, this project is another successful project and day in the calendar of the Ministry of Agriculture and the government. And I promise you, there will be many, many, many more successful days in the calendar of the Ministry of Agriculture and the government. This is because of the kind of visionary leadership, the kind of leadership that we have, and working under the stewardship of the Honorable Minister. And you heard the chairperson speaking about the teams such as Dr. Waldron, Mr. Lionel Timothy, Mr. Jagnaran Singh, Mr. Kulip. Those are seasoned persons who contribute towards the Ministry of Agriculture team. So when people see the percentage of success under the Ministry of Agriculture, under the leadership of the minister, all of these are contributors towards the success, and the team under them, meaning the various categories of workers we have. We know that team, there are gaps. Certainly, there's no perfection. There's no perfection, and there are gaps for things to happen, and we will continue to work towards the gap. We heard the president of the RPA alluding to one of those gaps. One of those gaps, meaning that the timeliness at the completion. But you know, often, and I spoke about imperfection, when we take, for instance, and those persons who listen to the vice president press conference, he will tell you, if there's 10,000 contractors, and if there are 5 or 10 of them that are unsuccessful, you will not hear nothing about the 9,999, but you will always hear issues about that 5. But it's good. It's good because we need to know how do we correct the situation if we don't know. And we are happy to be criticized, but criticize constructively. You don't say things for the reason of saying it. There must be things. There must be solution to these things, and it must come to us. And so I'm happy today, and I must also thank the team, the successful team, that is the contractor, the NDIA staff, and the consultant in successfully completing this structure here. I was going through some of the information, and little do people realize what the rice industry, and we'll speak more about it today and the other commissioning, mean to the Guyana's economy. $80 billion circulate. $80 billion circulate annually in the rice industry. Whether it's from the $21 billion that farmers received the last crop, whether it's from the investment and the new set of investment that is happening, that includes the drone and the new tractors, etc., it's approximately $80 billion that is running in the industry. So structure like these will bring a lot of relief to the farming communities. Livestock, rice, cash crop, and so we are very happy. It's something that you don't do because you want to do it. It's meaningful. It's meaningful. It improves the livelihood of people within these communities. And so the idea and this expenditure by the government, you can see on a daily basis. And when I alluded to the many successful days ahead of us, I'm referring to similarly like what is happening today. In the next few weeks, Minister will be on the Essequibo Coast, also commissioning more similar pumps like these. And the trajectory of development, I'm not speaking about the government in totally, the Ministry of Agriculture, what we have seen so far. Yesterday, I was speaking with the head of the aquaculture in Region 6. We had a long discussion, and he was telling me the intervention by this government and led by the minister has resulted in the person in the shrimps area there receiving between $1.2 and $1.4 billion annually, when there was about 25% before the kind of intervention. We were speaking about that. He was also speaking about a kind of formulas that he's going to be using, and we are seeing the kind of improvement. We have seen improvement in our half-year budget, in our half-year production result. You have seen an increase in almost all the sectors then. Whether it's livestock, whether it's cash crop, whether it's rice, aquaculture, so it means that the money is not being thrown anyway. It is put significantly for the development of communities, of our region, and our country. And this is the kind of effort that we will continue to have. So I know we also like to thank those farmers for their resilience. Those who have been suffered over the past months, years because of flooding and inadequate drainage. And we have to recognize the kind of leadership and the effort that Minister has led in the 2021 flood that saved many of the sector under the Ministry of Agriculture. Rest assured, and this is a commitment that we are making from the Ministry of Agriculture. When I said there will be many more successful days in the calendar of the Ministry of Agriculture, we'll continue to work assiduously. We'll continue to work with communities. We'll continue to work with individuals. We'll continue to work with our agency and all stakeholders to ensure the continued improvement in the agriculture sector and the lives of every single farm and community in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll now have a cultural item performed by the Conganaya group. And they're going to be making their way up from the back. They're also joined by their TASA counterparts. Conganaya group and the TASA group put your hands together for them once more. And now we will hear about this project, about what it will mean for our farmers, what it will mean for drainage and irrigation here in especially Blackbush Polder. And to do that, we'll invite the chairman of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, Mr. Lionel Wordsworth.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, Sessional Chairman, colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture, RDC Farmers Residents. Special good afternoon to you. I'm very pleased to be here for this significant function whereby we gather to commission this important facility that adds to the drainage system here in Region 6, particularly the Leslie Holden outlet. So before I go into the project itself, what I want to reflect on and to share with you is that there is a national program whereby there's several projects and programs we have that geared at improving drainage and irrigation system right across the country, along the coast. We currently increasing capacity to clear out falls. We're currently improving our conservancy systems. And here in region number 6, there is an active program being implemented that covers from the number 66 area going all the way to Vreden Vrenskap. I heard magistrate spoke about these investment. This project is whereby we're building a flood embankment along the right bank of the Kanji. Vice Chairman spoke about the flood we had in 2021. So along with that project, we're creating a number of direct outlets to the Atlantic. So the vulnerability of Blackbush, Polar, 51, 52 areas, of these areas being exposed to the mercy of the high levels of floodwaters coming down the country, overtopping its banks and getting to these areas, will now be managed with a flood embankment in place. So those projects, along with this pump station, together is going to complement the drainage for the entire block number 66, going all the way to Vreden Vrenskap. And for those of you who traverse the Backlands area, a number of these works are currently being implemented. We have 17 contractors working in different aspects of the project. There are the evaluation of tendered project contracts to be awarded for bridges, new outfall channels. And while this drainage station is now being completed, we currently have similar project at Anchorville, and to Blackbush Pole as well, a pump station would be installed to supply irrigation. This facility here, a contract was awarded through a public tendering system, and through that system and the evaluation process, a contract was awarded to DISA Mechanical Workshop, who won the bid for the construction of this facility to a cost of $446 million. Along with that, a consultancy contract was put in place that is to supervise the construction, quality control, and ensure specifications are met, to the value of $26.4 million. That went to a company called SRKN Engineering. This project was awarded in October of 2021. There was a period of design review for the facility to ensure that the capacity of the pump matched the flows of the channel and the kind of rainfall that pours into this catchment block. And following that, works immediately commenced, and there were some delays. Mr. Ramraj reflected on that, but there isn't as he said, any perfect situation. Were able to overcome those delays, and about 3 months ago, we did a test run of the facility, and we're confident now that it's ready for commissioning, and that's why we gathered here today. The structure itself, it's built on pile foundation. It has a concrete sump. It's a steel frame enclosed here to protect the pumping units. There are 2 pumps in it, each with a capacity of 150 cubic feet per second, and it's mechanically driven. So this station itself would benefit directly 6,000 acres of farmland that drains directly to this channel here, and it is meant to operate when the 3 sluice gates are closed. The pump would be put into operation, so you maintain drainage flows in the area. Also, while we're looking at mechanical facilities like this, it is necessary in this area and other areas, as we constantly make investment like these, to improve drainage and irrigation system, particularly drainage, because if you think about it, any area along the coast, any activity, whether it's any economic activity, it really, the service of drainage is very important, because if there's accumulation of water, it affects your business, it affects your farming. And Guyana, being vulnerable to the effects of climate change and the extremities of prolonged dry period and intense rainfall in a short period, we will see more and more investment like this, so we can build our resilience, improve our drainage system, and to provide that service that would benefit everyone. I just want to say also, for this Blackbush Polar area, at the number 43, and there's been a prolonged issue whereby you have from the 50, 44, 45, those areas going back to the extreme of Yakasari to the east, drains into the 43 channel. We're building a new sluice. We're building commissioning pump station. New sluices will be built there to improve drainage, and the long-awaited connection of the channel by Sati in that location there will be done to improve drainage for the Yakasari area too. So overall, we having flood protection from the Kanji. We're putting in new canals. We commissioned this pump station today. We're adding more sluices. The effort will be, and it's demonstrated there, to improve drainage and improve the livelihoods of everyone, and to protect your investment, particularly agricultural crops on the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now we come to the feature address delivered by no stranger to any of us, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Director General, Chairman of the NDIA Board, President of the RPA, Regional Vice Chairman, other officers from the Ministry of Agriculture, REO, see here the Director of the Amsterdam Hospital, special invitees, and more particularly farmers. Today is a very important day for us in this region, a day when we are commissioning a pump station, but not just a pump station, because this investment here is an investment for the future of our country. And it gives me great honor and pride to stand before you here this afternoon in making these few remarks, because we heard from a number of speakers who spoke just now the importance of projects like these. And as I am speaking here today, not only in Region 6, but across the country, we are about to build almost since 2020 August. And by the end of next year, we will be building approximately 19 of these projects across the country. Right here in Region 6, you have here at Adventure, in Blackbush Polder, we had to re-award that contract. We have one at Ankerville, we have one at Letterkenny, and another one will be awarded shortly at Chesney in the Albion area. So right in this catchment area, you have 5 pump stations. And when you add the investment that we are making in these projects, it will be tremendous, because as a government, we recognize the importance of investment in the future of our country. And I want to say today, we should never take things for granted, because all of us will remember in 2015, the last year of the PPP civic government, the agriculture budget, or the investment in agriculture, was $18.5 billion. And 5 years after we got back into government, we went and reached a budget of $13.5 billion. And that speaks for itself, because it shows who has the farmer's interests at heart. In 2021, when we suffer that devastating floods, in the entire region, in the entire country, all the regions in our country, we had to find funds immediately. Less than a year we were in government, we had to find funds to give to the farmers to go back to the land as quickly as possible. Because we recognize, and as Minister of Agriculture, I'm not being prejudiced here, but we as a government recognize the importance of this sector, the agriculture sector. We can have all the natural resources in the world. We can have all the sectors that are bringing in the revenue. But if you don't develop the agriculture sector, if you don't make it resilient, if you can't make it sustainable, then the whole future of our country will be in serious problems. So that is why we have seen over the years, over the last 4 years, we have seen the agriculture budget, or the investment in the agriculture sector alone, leaving out those mega projects like the Hope Light Canal that we heard about. The Ministry of Agriculture this year will be expending $97.6 billion to ensure that we make the investment in the farmers' interest in our country. And that tells us a story, because it tells us where our priorities lies. Where our priorities lies. And like the agriculture sector, we are seeing massive improvement and massive development taking place in all the sectors in our country, be it health, education, public works, human services, you name it. And we can see the investment that we are making. Today, Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world. Today, we are the envy of the world, not only the Caribbean. And as I said, that with the investment that we are making, Guyana today is leading the charge in food security and the agriculture sector. When I became Minister of Agriculture, Guyana had lost its place in leading the agriculture sector. At that time, we have seen the former administration was they de-emphasize this important sector. We heard, and many of you rice farmers will know, that we heard the story about rice is a private business, that we should not put the kind of investment in the rice sector. And when CARICOM wanted to craft a food strategy for the COVID pandemic, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they were leading that. But at the first heads of government meeting in Belize, I accompanied His Excellency the President. And at that meeting, our President made a presentation to the heads of government in reducing the food import bill by 25% by 2025. And right there at that heads of government meeting, Guyana rescued that position once again. Because since the formation of CARICOM, all the presidents from Guyana lead in agriculture, except that period when our place was taken up by St. Vincent. Today, the entire Caribbean is looking towards Guyana for that leadership. Places like Barbados, whose economy was built on tourism, they are now looking to Guyana. We have sent technical personnel to Barbados to help them in their shade house project, to help them in the brackish water shrimp project. We have helped their Trinidad and Tobago resuscitate their rice industry. We have people right now in Grenada. Only a few weeks back, when the president was in Grenada, he made a presentation to the government of Grenada. You know that island was battered by the hurricane. We are now building shade houses in Grenada to help them to overcome their food problem. While all that are happening around the Caribbean, we are seeing monumental progress in Guyana. And I want to come to the agriculture sector in Guyana. When we talk about agriculture, we doesn't mean only to plant rice and cash crop. We want to develop the agriculture sector in every single sphere. Be it rice, sugar, fruits and vegetables, livestock, new crops, aquaculture, fishing, you name it. And all these areas we are seeing massive investment being made. For example, we heard about the brackish water shrimp project from Region 6. Last year, the farmers in Region 6, with the help of the government, we are now working with them to enhance their holdings, and we are about 75% in that project that we started now. And they have increased brackish water shrimp from 10,000 kilograms to roughly about 110,000 kilograms monthly now. Last year, because of that, the farmers in Region 6 were able to earn approximately $1.8 billion. And those are the kind of investment that we are talking about. We have seen in the rice sector. Every year we are seeing increased production. We are seeing increased yield. Although now we are having challenges. For example, the paddy bugs that are affecting the crops. But we are working very, very closely with the farmers. As a result of that, GRDB was instructed to work with the farmers to provide chemical so that they could spray the dams and mares. Only 2 days ago, I received a report from the president of the RPA, where he told me that in those areas that we have targeted, we now have control, but we have to continue to work with the farmers so that they can also spray their holdings, so that we will not have a big infestation and damages when we have the harvesting season. We know for a fact that now rice are starting to blossom, and very shortly we have already started harvesting, and very shortly we'll have a number of areas start their harvest. So these are the kind of achievement that we are talking about. Guyana today, as I said, is leading the charge to reduce the food import bill in the Caribbean. And today, this project stands as a testimony to the government's commitment to the development of not only the agriculture sector, but to the development of the people in this region, especially those persons living in the Blackbush Polder area. When I became here Minister of Agriculture, I came and I said, we will build a pump station here to drain the entire area here. Now, this pump station, I heard the technical person said that this pump station is capable of draining 126,000 gallons per minute. And imagine that we are having, or we used to have a sluice here alone, how this will complement the drainage system in this area. Not only the rice growing area, but places like the Kukrit Savannah, and with the development of the area that we are talking about, things like the high-level canals, the Hope-like canals, that will be coming out at 51, 52 area, that area will be one. And then at the Lancaster, Manchester area. So 2 Hope-like canal, and y'all could remember, when the Hope Canal was built, many persons at that time were criticizing it, saying it was a Jack Day white elephant. But that proved itself when we had the flood in 2021. Those areas that are being serviced by that canal, those areas were not flooded. Places like Georgetown and the East Coast. And I'm very optimistic with the construction of the embankment from number 66 to Kanji, and with the construction of the 2 high-level canal, and with those integrated systems that we are putting in place, those internal drainage systems that will lead directly to these Hope-like canal, we will have 24-hour drainage right on to the Atlantic Ocean, rather than to drain it in the cultivation area. So those are the development that we are talking about. For too long, our farmers have been suffering. We are seeing today climate change is real. Before we used to have 5 inches of rainfall in 3-4 months. Today we are having that in just a few hours. So the volume of water is more, and we have the same drainage system. So that is why, as a government, we are working to develop and build an integrated drainage system so that we can build our capacity. We have flat, arable land on the coast, but a challenge that we are faced with is to drain it effectively because we are below the level of the sea. And gravitational drainage sometimes is difficult. That is why we are putting all these pumps and all the other mechanisms in place. We are now embarking on a project where by the end of this year, early next year, we'll be procuring another 40 pumps where we'll put to different parts of the country to complement the system that we have now. Because we recognize for us to be more productive, for our farmers to benefit more effectively, we have to make those investments. Only recently, we have had a discussion with the World Bank, and we have a project now where we'll rehab a number of sluices across this country. Some brand new sluice, some rehabilitation, and we'll do it right across. And Region 6 is catered for about 10 of those sluices we'll rehabilitate. So you could see the kind of investment that we are talking about. So when we build projects like these, this is not just an investment on a project that we are doing, but this is an investment for the future of our country. If we want our country to build capacity, if we want to lead in this sector, if we want to be that food hub, that food producing country that we are talking about, all these are the investment that we are talking about. As I am speaking now, we will be building a food hub. We have already awarded the first part of the contract to prefab the structure, And now, recently, a few days ago, we had the awards for the foundation and the flooring for the food hub. We are building a food hub at Yarrow Cabra on the Linden Sioux Dyke Highway. We have already signed an MOU with the state of Roraima, which will work so that that food hub will be the center for us to export in the Caribbean. The food import bill of 25%, we have to reduce it by next year. And for the first quarter of 2024, we have seen already the food import bill reduced by 12%. So we are very optimistic that we can reduce it, but we have to work hard, and Guyana has to be successful. And for Guyana to be successful, you are the stakeholders. You are the person who have to make that contribution. And we in the government have all the confidence that the farmers in our country will step up so that Guyana could once again be the breadbasket of the Caribbean. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we are commissioning this pump station here this afternoon, and we will be building shortly a number of other pump stations. You heard the Director General mention we have another 2 on the Essequibo coast. We have another one at Trafalgar in Region 5, and those will be commissioned very shortly. We have some in Region 3. So by the end of this year, a number of these projects will be commissioned and come into operation. And I'm hoping in what we are doing, we are now an oil and gas producing country. But as a government, we are not only concentrating on oil and gas activities alone. It's important for us to bring in the revenue, but we are using the revenue to modernize the system. That is why when we spend money like this, we are getting the revenue coming out of various areas. But the agriculture sector is an important sector for us. And we are getting a large revenue coming in from this sector. The agriculture sector contributed 28.9% to non-oil GDP in our country. We heard how much money is being circulated alone in the agriculture sector. And as a government, we will continue to work with you. We recognize the importance of the agriculture sector. We recognize for us to be successful, we have to develop this sector. This sector is responsible for our food production. We have seen what has happened around the world during the pandemic. Many countries that had large sums of money were unable to procure food for their population. We are producing 60% of the food that we are consuming. But the president said we must improve on that and go into new areas. So we have decided that the traditional areas, I don't mean traditional areas, things like rice, sugar, fruits and vegetables, we will increase production in those areas. But at the same time, we are going to new areas. We are going into things like corn and soya. Every year, Guyana is importing approximately between 30 to 40 million US dollars in corn and soya for the livestock industry. We said we have to be self-sufficient in saving that money so we can use it into different areas. As a result of that, we have formed a partnership with a private company, and we are working with them. We have developed the Takama Savannah, where we have put in silos. We are increasing this year the capacity of the silos from 12,000 to 18,000 tons. We are building a wharf in the Berbice River, where the ship can go and dock directly to offload their cargo to that area. We are now building a conveyor system from the silo directly to load corn or other product into the ship. We have built hundreds of kilometers of roads In the Tacoma Savannah, you could leave Georgetown and within 3 hours, you could be in the Tacoma Savannah through Linden and Ituni. That's the condition we have developed. Now, this year, at the end of this year, this crop, yes, they've started the reaping there. They will reap almost 5,000 acres of corn and soya. We are hoping to increase that by next year to 25,000 acres. And as long as we can do that 2 times per year, we will be self-sufficient and at the same time be a net exporter. So those are the kind of vision that we have. Those are the kind of vision. The other things that we recognize, the Caribbean has been a large importer of beans, things like black-eyed peas, red beans. So we have an investor we are working with now, right here from Berbice. Right here from Berbice, we have Paramount Trading with another investor. They came together and they form a company. Now we are working with them and they will be doing the production of black-eyed peas and red beans in the Kimbia area. We are now building the road there and we are putting a silo there so that they can start to produce. By next year, we are very optimistic that we will produce all our needs for the beans production and also be a net exporter. Those are the vision we are talking about as a government. In the livestock area, you know many farmers. We brought in special breed of animal from Texas. We have been working with the farmers to give them better breed so that we can improve our breeding stock. We have built one of the most state-of-the-art abattoir at Anvoak. We now have to develop our beef industry. We have to develop our dairy industry. We have seen banks, DDL, in conjunction with another foreign company, they are investing $20 million to build a dairy plant at Moblissa. We also have a pasteurized plant right in Region 5. Now we have to build capacity. We have to work with the farmers to develop both areas, beef and dairy, so that we can produce the milk and beef, so that Guyana can be a main export of those things too. We are working with the young people, because today young people see agriculture as a menial job, a job for old people, a job that people who never went to school doing. We are changing that perception. We are changing that perception. And today, with the company that was formed by His Excellency the President, the Agriculture Innovative Entrepreneurship Program, we have a number of young people who are today shareholders in that company. At the end of the year, they are getting dividend. We have a number of shade houses. They are running these shade houses, and for the high value crops, things like broccoli, cauliflower, carrot, lettuce, bell pepper, you name it, they are now producing it and selling it to the hospitality industry and the oil and gas industry. In 2021, we imported $2.6 billion in those crops. Today, our young people are producing it. People who are now graduates from the University of Guyana, who have an agronomy degree, or who came out from the Guyana School of Agriculture. They are involved directly. And we are seeing more young people now are embracing this activity, agricultural activity. So we are developing our agriculture sector holistically, not only in one area. And as a government, we never said that this thing is a private and we will not work with the farmers. You can see in any single area, every area in the agriculture sector, we are making the investment. Now we are building the aquaculture industry. We want that to be a main player for us. And I'm hoping not long from now that many of you who are here will not stop do what you are doing now, but we have to do new things too. We have to go into other activities. And aquaculture can be a main activity for you here in Region 6, because the condition that you have is ideally suited for the development of the aquaculture industry. You heard last year, the industry right here in Region 6, they brought in approximately $1.8 billion that circulated back in the economy right here in this region. We have started the production of brackish of prawns, Vanami prawns at Anvawak. We have 10 ponds as I am speaking here. We are building a feed mill at the Saturday Aquaculture Station at Manripo. We are building our own hatchery so that we can hatch our own larvae, so that we can supply not only the ponds at Anvawak, but farmers around the country. And we are working with various farmers because in the fishing sector, we have already bought 3 pieces of excavators so that we can work with farmers to develop their plots. And that is what we have been doing. That's the vision. And all of us who are here, and every single citizen should give credit and recognize the vision of this government, especially His Excellency, the President of our country. We have a President who is very passionate about this sector. Every single area, and I can tell you because I travel a lot with him, and every area, and the comrades will tell you, every day, we in this sector have something to go and deal with. We have enhanced all the landing sites in this country. We went the other day at Manripos, and let me show you, we as a government, we want the farmers in this country, we want the stakeholders, the people who are directly involved, to reap the benefit. That is why we only Thursday last, I commissioned an agro-processing dehydrating facility at Hope Estate. Why? Because we want our farmers to add value to their products. So many times the farmers produce from the farm to the market. And I can give you a typical example. We were at Manripo on the landing site. The president, myself, and a number of officers from the ministry. And a boat came in with fish, Bangameri. And the truckman, the man who was buying the fish, buying it for $100 per pound, $100 per pound, the Bangameri from the boat. $100, he just collect the fish from the boat into his truck. And another person got to the truck to buy the fish. Here the man said $250 a pound. Who making the money is the middleman. Just like that. The middlemen making the money in other sectors, like the fruits and vegetables. You, the farmers, you selling it very cheap at the farm gate. And when they go to the market, the markup is so much that every single body said that the government is not making things cheap. But you see how the cost going up. That is why over the last few years, we have organized a number of farmers markets across the country, where farmers themselves are getting more for their produce and consumers are paying less. So you have a win-win situation from both sides. And that is what we are doing. We have already built 13 agro-processing facilities across this country so that farmers can add value to their produce. So, comrades and friends, I know I've been going on for some time, but it's necessary we put things into perspective. And sometimes we just be very unreasonable for small things. When we ask for something, we think we want to get it done now. It can't happen now. We have to put system in place. We have to put system in place. And that is why when we make a commitment, we value that commitment. We try as much as possible to resolve or try to satisfy the demands. That is why for the first time in the history of this country, less than 4 years, almost every single commitment, when we went to the election campaign in 2020, every single commitment we have achieved under this government. The first time. And things what we are doing now are new things. New things, like for example, the development of the Palmyra area. We will have a new entire areas there with commercial area, sporting area. We will bring sports now, what people are experiencing in Georgetown, Providence, we'll have it now in next year in Palmyra. So when CPL cricket